Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my podcast where I cover all things science fiction. My name is Arnav Thapa, and today we will be diving into themes and scenarios of science fiction, such as unintended consequences, space exploration, and futuristic societies. We will also be diving into BBC Radio 4 Start of the Week, Space Survival and Exploration, the book Death by Technology, written by John R. Cook, more short stories from the Wesleyan Anthology of Science Fiction, and the book Neuromancer by William Gibson. Previously on the last podcast, we discussed the future of artificial intelligence, the internet, and virtual reality, but today we will be discussing more on the societal aspects of our future regarding science fiction. So sit back and stay tuned till the end of this podcast to learn more about science fiction, futuristic societies, and unintended consequences, and maybe you might even have a different stance on it by then. Starting with BBC Radio 4, Start of the Week, Space Survival and Exploration, they talk about intergalactic travel and the future of mankind in deep space, alien-like forms and Earth-like planets, and the problems that come with these topics. Kevin Fong starts the conversation with how to survive in outer space, and that the key to preparing for space travel is by undergoing what-if scenarios over and over again to prepare for unintended consequences. Stephen Baxter now steers the conversation towards the possibility of life in space and if it is possible for a human to live in space for their entire life. He, along with Kevin Fong, states that with proper training, it is possible to live in outer space, but there will always be an optimistic view on this idea since it has never been attempted yet. Moving on to the book Death by Technology, The Road to Hell is Paved with Good Intentions, written by John R. Cook. In Chapter 6, John R. Cook takes many works of science fiction such as Isaac Asimov's Robot and Bradbury's Martian Chronicles, and how these works have influenced the pop culture landscape. Cook also talks about the topic of geoengineering and how it is an effort to fix the problem of climate change and pollution, which affects the specter of unintended consequences. Cook also brings up the idea of robot soldiers, which are also known as killbots. Cook describes how these countries like US, China, Russia, Israel, and Germany are already developing killbots, and how that the possibility that remote control robots create are limitless. He is ultimately stating that if killbots do get more intelligent than humans, then it will be impossible to predict or even counter the actions of killbots. Cook persuades the reader that if these were to become true, then it would be the perfect example of an unintended consequence. Now more on the science fiction side. In the Wesleyan Anthology of Science Fiction, the short story A Martian Odyssey by Stanley G. Weinbaum is an excellent portrayal of alien life and the idea of futuristic societies. A Martian's Odyssey is a story of an adventure from Earth to Mars and how the main character, Dick Jarvis, discovers alien-like creatures and other forms of futuristic characters. During the short story, Jarvis discovers a creature named Tweel, and he later befriends him. Tweel now guides Dick Jarvis around the new habitat that he is not familiar with, and the two go on to tackle challenges that are thrown at them. What Weinbaum is trying to portray here and inform the reader is the theme of communication, problem-solving, futuristic societies, and space exploration. In another short story in the Wesleyan Anthology of Science Fiction, When It Changed by Joanna Russ, Russ portrays a futuristic society on the planet Whileaway. Whileaway has a population of only women due to a plague wiping out the male population. In this story, the main character is Janet, who is a civilian on Whileaway, and she encounters a group of male astronauts who land on their land. The introduction of men being on Whileaway after the plague sparks fear and questions among the women about their gender and the power they hold, and how it is affected by the arrival of men. Joanna Russ displays the idea of futuristic society and how unintended consequences can arise of societal structures and norms, especially when those norms are challenged or disrupted. Now onto the book Neuromancer by William Gibson. In part 4 of the book, Case, who is the main character along with Molly, continues on their journey to gain access to Wintermute's core. Wintermute is a very advanced artificial intelligence, and as Case digs deeper into its core, he realizes that the power of both Wintermute and Neuromancer, Wintermute would be free of limits placed on him and ultimately would be a threat to humans. The journey of both Case and Molly through cyberspace comes to a halt as police begin to investigate the ambush and the journey that Case and Molly are on. The two now continue their journey, where they encounter many more challenges and discoveries in cyberspace while being investigated by the police. The themes William Gibson portrays in this novel here are technology, identity, and the exploration of a futuristic society. One where Case and Molly are within an AI as powerful as Wintermute. Neuromancer is also an excellent portrayal of a futuristic society, as Gibson incorporates the idea of an artificial intelligence which is far more advanced than the world has right now. As we conclude our discussion here today, we have dived into themes that both inspire and caution us about the future. From BBC Radio 4, where experts like Stephen Baxter and Kevin Fong studied and taught us the challenges of space survival and the idea of life outside Earth, to John R. Cook's Death by Technology, cautioning us of the unintended consequences that technological advances may hold. As for the short stories provided by the Wesleyan Anthology of Science Fiction, they give us inspiration and insight into futuristic societies that challenge our understanding of humanity. Stories like A Martian Odyssey by Stanley G. Weinbaum and When It Changed by Joanna Russ gives us much to think about when it comes to companionship and societal norms and the unintended consequences of their disruption. As we continue this journey of studying the pros and cons of science fiction, we can say that we have learned a lot about the ideas of futuristic society, futuristic space exploration, and the unintended consequences that come with them. Thank you all for listening and tuning in to this podcast, and I will see you next time. Thank you.